All right, ladies and gerbils, welcome back to the Nerf Surf and Turf event. We are really starting to narrow down into some prime contenders here. So what's happening here is a lot of stuff has gone down. Um, it looks like the New World has more or less stabilized over here. We do have Greenland, who's captured northern and central United States. Looks like a couple territories have rebelled to North Canada. So North Canada has a couple extras. North Canada also has a double wheat from General Power of Us. So both Greenland and North Canada are doing all right, doing pretty strong, pretty healthy, and they have attacked over here into England. So England is pretty much, I'm going to say, a thing of the past. You can see Great Britain is still here, but man, Sweden is swarming in. Sweden has already captured this territory here. You can see North Canada was hoping to come in to grab some stuff, but Sweden was there first. So you can see Greenland did get 2 of the 3 over here, but North Canada got 1 of those. Over here, it's really just a matter of time. It looks like France is going to get 2 or 3 of these down here, and Sweden's going to get the rest. So you can see Great Britain, the territories that were on the mainland are already gone. Those were swallowed up here by Sweden over here, and a little bit over here by Finland on this side. So Sweden and Finland have completed the task of unifying Central Europe under their flag, all the way over into Eastern Europe a little bit. And of course, Russia here, a behemoth. You can now see they own everything from the sea all the way across, all the way through here. Everything north of there is theirs. So we are now sort of narrowing down into some monolithic, large world powers. It looks like Great Britain is going to be gone here soon. Let's go back to our normal order of things. So we still have an active Morocco. We still have an active West Algeria here. These two are sticking together. I understand that they're under sort of the protection of this team up here, this team of 3. This team of 3 is also expanding downwards. But before we look at that, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, so Britain is making an attack into France, and it does not look like it's going to be successful. I believe there's about 20, 24 troops here. They are not going to be able to wrench Paris. Yeah, Paris has a level 1, looks like building up to a level 2. I'm not sure. Maybe this means it's building the other half of that. What's their protection here? No, that's a level 1 protection, 67%. So they must be building level 2. That is a little bit deceptive. Sometimes it shows up as a level 1 here when it should be a level 2 that's building. So I'm not sure why that is exactly. But anyway, even with a level 1, he'll be just fine. He's going to have 50 troops there in a car. And then 7 more and 11 more. That's kind of overkill, to be honest. Paris doesn't need that many to protect. At the same time, there is a base trade going on. You can see France will be coming in here. Those armored cars are going to be instrumental in capturing some of these territories before Sweden can get to them. So we'll see. Sweden's going to be trying to grab as much territory as possible as well. Bit of a land grab here in Great Britain. Great Britain is going down. There's no question about it. And it does look like France is going to gain some territory on the island. That's big for France. France has also garnered some territory down here as Benaya and his brother, as this coalition really falls under the weight of multiple nations attacking. So we have Italy openly attacking down here. We have Spain attacking down into here. And we even have, there's Italy. And we even have France coming down and capturing a territory. So everyone's piling on here. But in particular, from this alliance here, that does make sense. That's a natural sort of expansion region across the water there. So you can see a lot of stuff going to France, Italy, and Spain here, this entire little region here. And this is goddamn Morocco. Plucky Morocco is just continuing to take territory all over the map, just without regard for anybody, just grabbing territory. It looks like they did lose Hail. Maybe they traded it over to Ukraine. I'm not sure. Ukraine, of course, was just waiting up here with troops and just sort of swarmed down in and grabbed stuff. You can see it does look like Caucasus here went ahead and crashed through here to be able to have access down into Arabia. And we talked about this. This is what happens when you have a player who just holds back all of his defensive power, and that's what Silver Star has pretty much done this game. that player will be the last one on the map. But so what? He's going to die now, right? It's like, that's the thing is, when you play overly defensive, now I'm not sure that they could have even done anything with all the nations coming down. But I will say there were troops here. There were, 20, 30 troops here that could have gone over and tried to defend his allies' capital, and they just didn't. And so the argument could be made, well, he's holding it back so he can defend his homeland. Yeah, but if you don't help to defend your ally, then you're just be alone. And that's what's basically happening now. He's alone. There's cannon here. There's big tanks, giganto tanks coming down. It's really just a matter of time. And of course, Ukraine is coming down. So is Caucasus from the east. So it's really just a matter of time before they crush Egypt as well. Now, what that's going to mean is something pretty huge. Right now, Romania took a huge, huge swath. Most of eastern Libya and part of western Libya, just a big, big chunk of territory. And I'm not sure if he's done yet. No, Benaya is still, he might be done. I'm looking at those stripy troops. I'm not sure if he can go much further with what he's got there. But he will push east. So he's going to expand probably into 2 or 3 of these territories as well. So that's pretty big for the central power here. The central power that has been flexing muscles here in this mid-game. So what I'm seeing now, it looks to me like we have an emergent power in the New World. Still uncertain what's going to happen with the southern United States. I would tend to think that before they attacked Great Britain, that they would attack and conquer the southern United States, but they must have some sort of peace treaty with them or something. But they are attacking into Great Britain. But as you can see, that's it. There's no more to be had. And that's an awful big party here, a big group of party goers that North Canada brought for no reason. If Sweden takes all that, then this 115 troops there is just, there for no reason really, other than potentially to, that's Sweden. This is all going to be Sweden in just, 3 seconds here. It's just, that's all there is to it, really. Maybe this 115 can come down and take Birmingham. That'd be a nice double coal grab here. But it does look like by the time they climb out of that water, it's going to be 7 hours before they even get to this nearest town. So looks like Northern Canada is not going to be able to grab much here in the British Isles. But anyway, we do have a pretty stable power over here in the West, in the far West here in the New World. We also have what I would contend as a fairly powerful system here of Papa Smitty, Grandma Karen, Harkold, and their 2 vassal states over here. So as long as these 5 can remain stable with each other and continue to eat up territory in the Middle East, then I would say these are also contenders. Now, the powerhouse, I don't think there's any question. The powerhouse right now is the Central Power. But with this recent grab of Great Britain's territories in Europe and this imminent grab of pretty much all of, the island of Great Britain and Wales, of England and Wales, I don't really see, the Northern Coalition is going to be huge. And so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and call the Central and the Northern the 2 dominant powers on this board. Benaya, I think, I'll just go ahead and say it. I think Benaya was done in by his fame. He has garnered a reputation in this community as being extremely strategic and crafty, and he played a great game. And but at some point, he was perceived as a bigger threat than I think he really was. And again, that might just be the downside of having a badass reputation. So who knew that could work against you? But apparently it can. So interesting stuff. This Southern Coalition is clearly going down. Morcus the Dorcas is pretty much gone. Silver Star is on his way out. Benaya is on his way out. There's just really no way to defend what's going on here. You've got cruisers coming in from Italy. It's just a done deal. It's just no question about it. It's really just a matter of who's going to gather, who's going to snatch up those territories as they move forward. So again, you see Italy coming down, getting a nice double wheat. You see France here. You see Spain, this coalition, and then Morocco. Morocco in there grabbing a double gas. That's probably gonna piss off some of these bigger countries. But what are you gonna do about it? Morocco's your friend. Morocco's been doing that pretty consistently. I think you can tell the tone of admiration in my voice. A relatively small country just elbowing his way to the front of the table and just like grabbing a big turkey leg while they're, these giant barbarian, warriors all around, and just elbowing in and grabbing a big old piece of meat. You got to admire that. We saw it up here in the Ottoman region. That went ahead and went back over to Caucasus one way or another. I can't tell if they gave it up, or I think they might have just gotten conquered. Well, let's just see who are you at war with right now, Morocco? Okay, so if you were ever at war, you are not anymore at war with Caucasus. So more likely just vacated and went on with their lives, because you can't maintain for very long with such military might surrounding you. So great stuff. Now I'm telling you, it's now starting to sort of calcify into these more stable, larger blocks. And again, I see two large rivals in the Central Powers and the Northern Powers, and kind of, again, a wild card group over here of five, this core of three, who's continuing to snatch up more territory in Britain and more territory in the Middle East. Along with Sweet and Oli here, this five is a major contender. And then we still don't really know what the New World can do. We know that Greenland has a lot of boats, just a bunch of boats, and that's a good thing. That's exactly what Greenland needs to do. We have seen lots of planes forming over here in North Canada. It looks like 3 bombers worth. The question is how to get them to where they can do anything. That is the perennial struggle of the New World. I've played many again. I used to like to start with southern United States and conquer the entire New World, and then just see if I could take on. Usually Middle East is a good place to land, or somewhere in Europe, and it's so hard to do. It's so hard to land and get a good foothold there and bring your planes over and give them a place to. There's just such a natural advantage of, these guys have been in Europe. These guys have been in the Middle East. They've built forts. They've built rail guns and, all kinds of defensive stuff. It's really hard to break through. We'll see what they do here. We'll see what the New World does. As of this time, it looks like they're tolerating the southern United States and they're moving into England. But after that, they're done. I don't know what else they can do without, declaring war on some of these major powers over here. So we'll see what happens next. Very interesting to see what comes out of the New World here. Did want to go ahead and say that I have been corrected by Bullet Hole. Bullet Hole said, "Hey, you mentioned while you were talking about our region of the world, you mentioned backstabbing, and so I have to backpedal, as it were, and just make it clear that Bullet Hole was never intending to backstab anybody at all. So I'm sorry if I sort of made that sort of impression upon people. That was not the case. Bullet Hole is a straight shooter, right? Hence the holes that the bullets create in the whatever material that is being perforated. But I think probably the problem was that I have been kind of critical of this conquering down and not sharing. But again, it's hard to be real critical of that because you're feeding all of your resources into the country that can build boats. And guess what's between you and the rest of the world? Friggin' water, lots of water. So, I always have my eye out for that kind of stuff. I like to see when people conquer down side by side and help each other and everybody gets some. But, in some circumstances, it might really just be better for one country to be getting the majority of those resources, especially in this middle game where boats are just going to be crucial. So I'm just going to leave the playing to them. I'll try not to criticize because especially since, I'm not on the ground. It's been really, I got to say, it's been a lot of fun not playing in this game. In the past, I've been casting. I cast these, but I'm also playing in them. So there's a lot of attention and focus that has to go into playing it as well as casting it. So I think I might be doing more of this, just setting up really fun games and then casting it, because I'm really enjoying just the armchair quarterbacking aspect of it without having to go through the torture of constant attention. Um, I do know that the people in this game have been playing arduously with a lot of attention, a lot of focus. So every single player that is still in this game really needs to be commended for that level of participation. I saw in one of the chats somewhere on our Discord, somebody new had come in and they were like, I can't believe, I've never seen a game this late, um, that people are still so actively involved with. This is day 21. We're 3 weeks in, and they just had never seen a game, especially on a 31 player map, where so many people are still so actively engaged. And by the way, no one is the runaway winner. I feel like we do have the North and we have the center that are sort of evenly balanced now at this point, more or less. We can go ahead and look and see who is, we should do this anyway. Team 5. Oh my goodness. Team 5. Who are you, Team 5? The North. I knew it. The North just quietly 200 points above everyone else, and they haven't made a lot of noise up there, but they've just slowly been expanding. Of course, Northern Russia expanded into Russia. Finland expanded down into Eastern Europe and got a lot of Central Europe, and then Sweden expanding, and then Sweden's about to gobble up most of England. Already has Wales, it looks like, over here. So really, really interesting strategic stuff going on up here in the North, silently taking over the world. Now, team 2, the extraordinary gentleman, that is Papa Smitty and his crew down here. Again, this doesn't even count the 2 vassals that are involved. I bet that would add another 50, 60, 70 points to this if we're kind of looking at those victory points. And so that would be, still be pretty far behind 5. Team 6 is Romania and Caucasus. Yeah, okay. So it does look like Team 6 has fragmented. Swedish Viking is still a part of their team, but is no longer actively on the roll. We did permit that early on. I think one of the first players to do that might have been Oli, who dropped out of his coalition so that he could share map with people. And he cleared that with me. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. As long as you still remain honorable to your coalition mates, as long as they all, and so, by the way, if ever you did want to attack one of your coalition mates, that's not impossible. But we would just ask, of course, that you just tell them openly, hey, we're kicking you out of the coalition. We're about to attack you. Just be above board about it and, maybe explain why or whatever. But overall, we do try to avoid that. But anyway, so that is an interesting idea here, because now we look at this and it looks like team 6 here is in 3rd place. But are they? How many victory points is there in that sort of missing person? 100? Maybe. So they might be looking at more like 3. They might be more in 2nd place. I think they would be almost certainly more in 2nd place. And, again, those victory points don't say everything either. There's a lot that goes into this game that are not included in those victory points. All right, so that's about it, frankly. We can see some late game stuff happening here. Syria, they're still taking over this AI over here. Caucasus taking over here as well. And eventually they're gonna just pincher the crap out of Egypt. Egypt's gonna be gone. So pretty soon, within the next, say week, I think all the fighting in the Middle East is going to be done with. And so we're really going to start to focus on what's going to happen with the West Central, East Central, Northern, and New World coalitions. It's anybody's guess. We'll see. It's funny because there are now like 4 or 5 different channels and group channels, like side channels, where people are reaching out and having strategy meetings with like 2 entire coalitions might be in on one. And the people have been great about inviting me into them. But like at a certain point, I'm just like, there's too much going on, guys. Like I can't keep track of all this stuff, Thanks for inviting me into these various side complicated chats. But at some point I'm in there. I'm like, oh geez, these people are in this together. Like, holy crap. If I didn't have a full-time job and if I didn't have, a wonderful wife who I like hanging out with and talking with, then I could probably give this game my full attention and do it justice. But for now, I'm going to have to just do the best I can, because there's a lot going on, so many little side things going on. For instance, I do believe there was a bit of a shift in loyalty, a sudden shift in loyalty. I think Papa Smitty had a loose agreement with Benaya, and then went ahead and turned around and went the other direction. He'd been sitting on this plan for a while and then executed it. I think caught Benaya by surprise. I haven't really talked to Benaya about that at all. In fact, Benaya and I both are preparing our alliance teams. We both of us start our games tomorrow. This is big stuff, guys. The universe is being represented by 2 different alliances in this huge tournament that's happening. 48 teams, and of those 48, 2 of them are from the universe. So big stuff. I'm going to keep you posted on that as well. I am going to go ahead and cast my game, and I hope Benaya casts his too, because we're still learning about this alliance play. It's a very specific kind of machine gun fast, rapid. Usually the game is resolved within a couple weeks. Kind of fast, early attack kind of stuff. So we're learning about it. It's almost like sort of like a blitz chess kind of thing. It's just boom, boom, boom. You have to be ready. You have to be coordinated. It's a lot of fun. Again, I just want to encourage people, if you're interested in alliance play, go ahead and find one of our alliances, and you can talk to me or Benaya about that if you need guidance to find them. Sign up, and then make yourself available for these games. The tournament is happening now, so you probably won't get into the tournament, but you can be an alternate for the tournament, and then we will be doing side games as time goes on, but not during the tournament. We're not doing any side games during the tournament. We want to be laser focused. We want to really show out strong for this community, for the universe here. And I have every confidence that we will. I'm pretty stoked about our coming game. We looked at the map. It looks really good. Raya Force and I have been looking at it. I know over in Benaya Camp, he and Hemland have been studying their map and determining how best to move forward. And tomorrow at, I think, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to begin this epic tournament. So it's going to be super, super fun. All right, that's about it, guys. Thanks for checking in. A lot going on. This game is now sort of solidifying, I would say, into 4 major teams. We've got the New World. We've got the East Central, West Central, and North. The South has collapsed, and so we'll see how much of that gets eaten up by the East Central, how much of that gets eaten up by the West Central, but they're going to be competing for those resources down here. We'll see what happens. It does look like the East Central has the lion's share of that, having gathered up so much of Libya, and it looks like just well positioned to take Egypt, right? Whether it's Caucasus or Romania, they're going to pincer down here and take it. So really great stuff going on. It's a fun game. It's an exciting game, and it's still, there's really no easy runaway winner at this point. So just keep on showing up, guys. We'll see what happens in the long run. Great game. Thanks for showing up, everybody. I'll see y'all next time. Adios, amigos.